So I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I could not get this to pop off. Is this going to be the fix-all for everybody? I don't know, but it sure works for me. I mean, I wasted a spur gear, a bent shock, and what else did I break yesterday? Oh, a bent axle. And I still, body never even came loose, front or rear. Even with my Velcro fix, the front would pop loose. It just wouldn't, the body wouldn't come off. So I still had to bring it around, loosen up the Velcro, put the front back on, tighten the Velcro back down. This one, the front didn't come loose, the back never come loose. It didn't come off until I took it off. So here's the instructional video of what I did to put it on there. And then at the end, I'm going to give you my final thoughts and some different things that I would look at while you're doing this, and some things that I may do different when I install it again the next time. So in this video, we're going to talk about installing these push buttons into the X-Maxx towers and into the body, which will hopefully keep these bodies from popping off, especially these aftermarket bodies. I'll put a link in the description where we got these from. Basically the way they work, this is going to be in the body. You're going to push it down on there and it's going to lock into place and it won't come off. And then to release it, you can do it, just push it and pull it back off. This is not my idea. I got this idea off of a Facebook forum page for Traxxas X-Maxx owners. I'm just making an install video of me doing it, and then I'll make some testing videos of us going out and testing it, and we'll see if this actually works. But it looks like it's a good concept, looks pretty cool, so let's get started. So as far as tools, I did talk to the person that has done this already, and for the posts, it looks like he said it was a 6mm, and for the body it was an 18mm to drill the holes. Now I don't have millimeter stuff, so what I've got is did the conversions, and the closest thing to it is going to be right at a 15/64 or a 1/4 inch. So I've got these. We're going to try the 15/64 first, and then for the 18mm would be a 23/32 or an 11/16. I have a step bit that will do the 11/16 for the body, so that's what we're going to use. We'll use a littler one to drill a pilot hole, and then we'll use a little bit to drill the pilot hole, and then we will do a bigger one with the step bit for the body. So according to his instructions, and this is very precise to make this fit with the stock latch mechanism. So of course, like I said, he said he gave me instructions all in millimeter, and I do have one of these that does do millimeters. So I'm going to set this at 10mm, and these back holes are going to go 10mm from the inside of the lip on this shock tower. So from that lip, close it down to 10, put the 0 on the 10mm there, and we're going to make a mark. Okay, so there's where the first hole is going to go, and then we'll do the same thing on this side. Okay, and then for the fronts, He says those are 12mm from the lip. So again, we'll go 12mm. And again, that's a little bit more, that's 13. So let's go with 12mm off the lip, right in the center. And I know that because of the thickness of this, I'm going to go to the inside of these holes just a little bit to start my drilling. Okay, so now let's drill these holes. I said I got two bits. I got a 15/64 and a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to start with the 15/64 and we're going to see if that's big enough for these shafts to fit through. Now on the fronts, you only have to drill through the top shaft or the top tower. You don't have to drill all the way through because they do sit a little bit higher. Alright, let's see if the shaft's going to fit in there. Yeah, it looks like 15/64 is going to be perfect. Now in the backs, I'm only going to drill through the tops to start with. And if we need to, we'll drill the rest of the way through here in a little bit. Once we get the body set up on there and see what the height is like. So, in this kit, I got a 4-piece kit off of Amazon. And in each kit comes, okay, so in each kit, get these things open here. You you're gonna get 2 nuts, 2 flat washers, and the button itself. Okay, so we're going to put a nut on, we're going to put flat washer on. Now here's the other thing. Now what I'm going to do, and I believe he also recommends this in the video or on his post, is to add some Loctite to these things once you get about where you want them to be. Put some Loctite on these nuts to keep them from coming apart, keep them from vibrating loose. So now what I'm going to do though is I'm going to add 4 of these little lock washers to it along with the Loctite. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do the first one, and we will go from there. And the first thing I need to do is take the shock out from this side. Do this front one right here. Now I have extra tires laying around, so grab one of them now. My extra paddles. And lay it up underneath here to hold this thing up while I'm working on it. Okay, so let's take this one back out of this hole. And then I'll put some Loctite on it. Since I don't know exactly where it's going to go, I'm just going to spread it out a little bit. And then we're going to put one of our lock washers with our nut, our flat washer, I mean. We're going to stick it through that hole. Okay, so your bottom washers are not going to go on. So, I'm going to stick it on here. What I'm going to do is hold the nut and twist the shaft until I get it where I want it. Take my little 10mm here, and we'll just two 10mm, and we will tighten these things down. Alright, there's one post installed. I may have to adjust it for height. We'll see when we get along. I'll get you guys back on when I get all four of them on. Okay, at this point, I've got all four posts on. Okay, and I'm gonna be honest, these back ones, kind of a pain to do. I did drill all the way through, but to get that nut up in there, it was kind of a pain. You may actually be better off cutting this back one short and only going halfway through like we did in the fronts. So what I'm going to do now is I've already adjusted them up to where when I put the body on and lock it in place, these are touching the body. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the right height or not. We're going to find out once we get them drilled and get this piece actually mounted in the body. So what I'm going to do is put the body on. But even without that top piece, this back is extremely tight. So I'm going to put the shocks back on, I'll put the body back on, then I'm going to flip the body over and I'm going to mark with a Sharpie where these posts are touching, and then I'll drill the holes out and I'll mount the push buttons, and then I will get you guys back on. Alright folks, it is finished. I've got them mounted in here, got them mounted in here. To use with the existing clip, there is an L that comes off, kind of an L shape, goes here. Had to cut those off on both sides. And back here, this piece goes straight across. You got to cut those off on both sides. And I actually had to take this out to get those screwed down in there. Now, this was kind of a pain to do. If it works, okay, great. If it don't, we'll go back to the drawing board. But you know, these things here for the set of 4 of them were like 15 bucks on Amazon, so it's worth a try. A couple things that I'm having some issues getting this on and off. And I think the main reason for that is these posts are not completely vertical. So they're not they're not straight. And I think that could be part of the issue. But to put it on, slide it up on there, kind of force it, lift your back. Well, all right, there we go. Kind of force it up on there, push the back down. Once you lock these back ones into place, oh, one thing to remember, you've got to push these down and make sure they're depressed before you put it on. Now, the way I was doing it, okay, push them down, slide the body up on, get this piece, and then once it locks back here, then you can put the whole thing on. And because my posts are crooked, this is the part that's giving me fits. There we go. Now I got it straight. All right, now it's locked. Now I can push in my lock and lock it in place. And you can tell it's locked by the top. And then I come up to the front and those aren't actually locked. My front's off. Okay, front's missed the hole. That's what the whole problem was. So let me take them back off. Okay. Slide the fronts up. Why are my fronts missing now all of a sudden? Alright, let me look underneath this. Like I said, this is not the easiest thing in the world. But if it works, then this is going to be great. But for some reason, my front is sliding way off to the side of this. And it wasn't doing this when I was testing it earlier. There, now they're on there. So, I can lock the fronts, lift the back, wiggle it around, lock the back, and then lock it into place. There is no play in that body whatsoever. There's a little bit in the front still, and I'm not going to take all that out because I want it to have a little bit of give in it. But then to take it off, you unlock it, push your buttons. As you're pulling, push the buttons on the front to unlock the fronts and pull them off. Now, a couple of things that I did do, let's take it back off again. Unlock, push and pull, push, push and pull. Now, getting it off is easy. A couple things I did do different, or a couple things that I did while I was doing this. Put a level across this, make sure they're both the same height. So what I did to get them, get them the same height all the way across. Also, when you use the step bit to drill the holes, that 11/16 size is not right. I ended up taking this bit all the way through, which is 3/4 for the right size holes for the body. So we're going to take this thing out and we're going to give it hell and we're going to see if this works. And we're going to figure out why this thing wants to keep missing. So I'm going to keep tweaking on it. And then once we go out and test it, I will come back and give you my final thoughts on it. Yeah, it's in there. Didn't feel like it did, but it is definitely in there tight. So we'll test it this weekend. We'll see what happens. One of the things, I'm not really concerned about how hard it is to put it on because, once you get it on, what are you doing? Taking it off just to change out battery packs? Hopefully, if this works, it ain't going to pop off on you. But I will follow up as soon as we get some testing done on it, and we're going to go out this weekend, give it hell, and I'll get back with you. Well, it ain't come off yet. Yeah.
People are out here when the track is closed, or they're just sitting out there. Well, we have an event here that we got approved of.
Huh? Okay, my first tip. Get those straighter than that. The straighter you can make those straight up and down, the easier it is to get the body on and off. Can I get my body on and off? Yeah. Is it finicky? Oh yeah. But the straighter you can make those posts, the easier it's going to be on and off. I'm not going to give you the specs, the height of these, because I believe it's going to be different for other people. Depends on how your body is, depends on how wore out it is, how much stuff is twisted. When you drill this hole back here, you're going to drill all the way through, because this has got to go through. Don't put the nut on the bottom. Put the nut up inside, like right in here. Just like you do on the front. Front, you only drill through the top part, you put the nut on the inside. I did Loctite both nuts. I also put a little lock washer underneath, up here on the tops. When it comes to the body itself, as you can see, cut out this little L piece right here on both sides, and back here you just cut off this little bracket that goes across. Now what I did when I cut my holes, I marked a little hole where I thought the post was, and I drilled just a little bitty, got 1/4 inch hole in there. Then I set the body down on the car and seen how far off center I was on those posts. I drilled these holes out with a 3/4 step drill bit, because 3/4 is about the size of the hole you want it to be. So you can put them down in there, but you could actually cut these holes out with a knife if you wanted to. As far as the posts here, these posts are 12 millimeter from this lip right here where this thing touches. It's 12 millimeter right there where my finger is. Okay, to the center. In the back here, these are 10 millimeter from where that touches right there. And for the drilling these holes, I used I ended up going with the 1/4" bit. Yes, I ended up drilling these with a 1/4" bit to get them in and out of there. If anybody has any questions or any comments, please leave them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, keep on bashing.